Let's go.
Hi guys, welcome to the Me series, the Mind, Body and Soul.
Hello.
We are so lucky we have Andrea. Everyone say hi to Andrea and Yi, my host.
Yes,
Okay.
we are back.
Hi
We
guys,
are
thank
back
you for inviting me.
for the month of May. We have the soul dance, the soul dances, right? So with Andrea, everyone knows Andrea, I believe. Okay, anyone who's been following our show, anyway, she's been on our show a few times. And today we want to talk about like the hidden languages of the soul, right? We want to talk about how dance translates into that. I mean, what is dance? Is it healing? Is it like people going crazy? Is
Yes,
it
it's
like
you.
a ballerina there, calm and collected, right? Unlike me. Okay, so what is dance? And from a professional point of view, what has dance got to do with anything, right? A lot of people say dance is just, you dance, you go crazy and then you leave it and let it be. So we want to know from Andrea, right? How does she look at dance and what's her journey as a dancer? Because I think a lot of us, when we think of Andrea, some of the things that comes to mind or some of the images that comes to mind is Andrea in that whole dancing pose, that rhythm, that like she's so what's the word, Xiao-san?
Hmm? Elegant.
Yeah, the
The
elegance, and
posture.
how long
Yeah.
the legs are when they put
Yeah.
when,
Yeah.
or even in the picture of our poster. So
Yeah.
maybe Andrea, maybe you can start off with
Start
talking
off.
to us about, how do you see yourself, as a dancer? Or would you call yourself a dancer?
I would definitely call myself a dancer. That's was always first. I think ever since I have found dancing, I found it dancing like accidentally because my parents were sending me to any kind of after curriculum exercises, like from singing to whatever I can just say, like
Yeah.
10 activities, and dancing was the only one that stuck to my heart, and then I stick
Oh.
to it.
Oh, how old were you that time?
I was 6. I was 6 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that started
So
very young.
what
Well,
do
I
you
can.
mean by dancing spoke to your heart? Can you tell us more?
It's the feeling when you feel that you are on the right place. Like, even though I didn't really know a lot about dancing, I was just in this place where the teachers were putting on the music. And when you are 6, you don't really have to do very difficult movements, right? It's just all about moving around with the dancing. But I just
Yeah.
forget everything around myself. Today, I would say I felt the flow. With my knowledge of today. But that time, I just had super fun at the dance classes with the
Yeah.
music and the
Yeah.
steps.
What is that area of dance that you started off with?
I started ballroom dancing and I stick with it for
Oh.
25 years. I was a
Oh.
tendenz competitor, so I was going
Mm.
every weekend. I was visiting different cities in Hungary and close to Hungary, some different countries, and we were competing and yeah, that was my
Wow.
life. Going to the
Wow.
trainings every day and in the
Go for
weekends
competition.
competition. Yes.
Wow.
Competition level, wow. So that must have taken a lot of discipline as well, right?
Yes,
So
yes. And I got a
was
lot
it
of things
something
from dancing, but let's see it
was it
later.
something you loved, Andrea? Or I mean, or is it something like a chore? Because when you talk about competition and when
Yes.
it becomes something that you're paid for sometimes as well, the dynamics of it can change actually, right? So what would you say is your relationship with dance? You done it
I
from
would
very
say
young,
that
right?
I think you couldn't really say that I'm an extrovert. I still call myself an introvert, but I like to be with people. And
Hmm.
dancing is also the same. I was really shy. Imagine when I was a kid, I couldn't even ask people what's the time. My father gave me this exercise and I was rather crying, but I was not going to the people that I didn't know to ask what time is it. So when I came to dancing, it somehow went away because of the bigger purpose, because I was like, yeah, I will go to this competition. And although I had stage fright or we were doing shows, at the end it was more for the art, for creating, for
Mm.
connecting with the audience. So I started to forget the stage fright, and then it changed.
Mm. Mm. Is there like how do you say this? Because to me, I feel that similar to you. I do not know maybe our background could be very similar, because for me as well, since young, my parents has put me on to a lot of extra activities, painting, piano lessons. I
Me
have
too.
dancing as well, and
Really?
like,
Piano
yeah,
lessons? I think it's a
piano,
Malaysian
painting.
thing.
It's a very Malaysian, especially if you're a girl, they will send you to dance, singing, dancing, piano. I remember my piano lessons and stuff like that. So we started off very young as well. But the fact is, I don't know, it's a good turnout for you, because for me, I learned my piano until age of 12 or 13, and I stopped, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to go any further. It is like what Cheryl says. It's a chore for me. It's like every week I have to go and play this ding 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 song. I'm like, I have no idea what the hell is that. Why do I have to go for a test for this? What's the point of it? So yeah. So it's pretty amazing that, for you it sticks on for so long, and if you really can connect with it, what is that one thing that you feel that it actually helps you to, continue with it? That what is that
So
one thing?
I would say that, as you mentioned, there were so many things. And if I would be a
Yeah.
parent, I would actually do the same with my child. And I would give her the freedom like my parents gave to delete everything what I don't like. They even sent me to taekwondo. So I was
Oh,
even trying some martial arts, but it
that
was
is the
not
only
really.
thing that my parents never bring me for. All these martial arts and self-defense. They say, oh, as a girl, you need to be, prim and proper. Let's not go for all this rough thing. I'm like, oh, that's one of the things that I kind of regretted not learning.
I tried that one too, and I'm
Yeah.
kind of really, really grateful for my parents for this. And
Yes.
this way, because I tried 20 things, right?
Yeah.
I was a
Yeah.
really good kid, but because of this, I was even doing debating. So
Mm,
when you take that all away, you learn a lot of stuff about a lot of things as a kid.
mm,
And then you
mm,
choose the things that you like. And even in my life, if I see now today, a lot of things stick with me. The rhythm, the music stick with me. The from the piano. If you see the
mm,
debating, my confidence,
mm.
my how I speak, it's coming from my debating background. If
Yeah.
you think the martial art, it's all the
Mm,
discipline and that I'm still liking to work out.
mm,
Or
mm,
if I take singing, then I'm still attracted to art. So all of the little things, they gave me something. But why I
mm,
stick with dancing and why
mm,
is it my thing? It's because it's combining everything I like, from
mhm.
what you said, from focusing the rhythm,
Yeah.
the physical health, the mental
The
health, the
confidence.
confidence,
Yeah.
the connecting with the audience, connecting with people like on unique levels. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's some kind of merging everything, and it's such an ancient art. So it's all
Yeah.
with the humanity for such a long time.
It's interesting. How come your parents choose ballroom dancing as the choice? Was it their choice? I'm sure it's their choice, right?
Yeah, I think because we had folklore, and in Hungary, folklore is very,
Yes.
very important, and it's very popular. So they could
Yes.
have sent me to the local folklore
Yeah.
school, and I could have turned
Yeah.
and going around in the countries and touring with the folklore group. But I
Correct.
guess they figured that I'm more like a ballerina type in a way, that I
Mm.
was like really thin, and I was
Hmm.
like, I love those dresses. I like to
Ah,
dress up pretty. So I guess that's why they chose ballroom.
yeah. Interesting. Interesting. I think GD has a question, right? How do you manage exhaustion that no longer allows music to help you to dance anymore?
Yeah.
Wow, this is a very deep question for
How do you manage First, I have to understand the
It's
question.
giddy, right?
So basically, I think he's trying to ask, like, if you're too exhausted to the extent that even music doesn't makes you move anymore, how do you manage it?
I think it's not possible for me. I I just don't have this state. If you know me, you already know it. That there is
So the
no state
music
like that.
really, so once you hear music, that's where you move, right?
It gives me, if I have to explain, I would explain it gives me a battery, like a charger or something like this.
Mm,
So whenever I hear music, the rhythm is coming and I love the rhythm,
mm,
then I just cannot stand moving. I have to move.
So I think
No,
Jeannie,
So it
back
like
to
jump starts you like
to answer.
battery gone, you know.
So
It just jump starts
yes,
you like
yes,
that.
it's no matter which state I am, no matter how exhausted I am, it's like, yeah, like the jump start on the car. Yeah.
So, Judy, your question is basically the music is the one that makes a body move, nothing to do with exhaustion anymore.
There's no exhaustion when it's about
Yeah.
dancing and music. I can be like
But
dancing for
I
one
think
four
also,
day or no problem.
but that's the thing about music, right? It has a way of touching your soul or touching you at a deeper level. I mean, I also feel that like sometimes like I'm completely exhausted and I've got nothing, you know, I don't want to do anything, and then there's certain music is like forcing you to get up and dance. It's pushing you to like start, you know, bobbing your head and, you know, shaking your legs, and you know, you don't want to, maybe you're in a bad mood or you don't want to, but it has a way to connect to your soul at a different level. I feel I don't know, but I mean that's how music is to me. I'm not sure so much about, you know, going deeper into dance and things like that, but
Mm.
if we talk about, you know, we've talked about the fact that Andrea, you started at a very young age, 6 years old, right? So when you're looking at dance, and what is the role do you feel, what kind of role, we talked a little bit about, you know, it impacts you from a physical sense and things like that, right? How has it played a role in your life right now, you feel, dance?
Dance. I think it's under everything what I do.
Can y'all hear me? Yeah.
It's in everything what I do. It's everything what I do is it's going through that. My business methodology that I'm using in coaching, whether it's self-exploration, whether it's branding, whether it's creative leadership training, whether it's whatever you see out there, it's all inspired by dancing. And why? Because you can just take a very easy example, like how a simple dancer becomes a very good dancer, what that person has to go through and what are the things that she or he has to develop. And it's all about personal development, all about growth, or about how to deal with other people. It's about the perspective, about the balance, about the strong core, about the values, about the practice, about being taught for more than 30 years by dance. And one other thing that people forget is dancing, the most ancient art, as I mentioned already, and it's human DNA. If you imagine the caves in the old times and you imagine the cave pictures, there were always people around the fire and they were always dancing or doing some movements on those
Yeah.
pictures. And
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
singing for their spirits, they were singing for success, they were moving to enhance what is happening to them. And today people forget this, that this is the power of a good speaker on a stage.
Yeah.
This is the power of Tony Robbins going around on the stage and making big moves and trying to enhance the people. That's why he's doing so much, go walking on the fire and all these things. It's all stimulating the body. And what's a better thing than dancing to stimulate the body, to make people understand things, whether it's business related or personal related, if it's not a very simple tool like dancing, which is with us ever since humanity is existing.
Yeah.
So that's the deep
Okay.
thought behind it.
Okay. Agree. Would you say that actually dancing are able to enhance all your five senses basically?
Everything, sixth sense also. I would say that intuition, what GD asking, like problem solving, improvising, like imagine even so I was like very, very young, like 10 years old. We went to a competition in Austria and it's a different country with different rules. We went to that place. I went in my full of Swarovski stone dress and they told me at that place that you cannot wear this because there cannot be any gemstones or any sparkly things on that
On the
dress.
costume. Okay.
And I wanted to participate. I went to another country. I traveled a lot. And I was like, I cannot. What can I do? And together the team figured out that we just put a pullover above the dress and we went on the dance floor and we danced and we won with that pullover on my dress. So it teaches you something that nothing else can teach, because you are forced to be there, you are forced to be present, you're forced to solve the problem, right? So
Agree.
that's what, but nothing is so complex in life as dancing, from my perspective, or athletics or any sports, right? They are so complex, and it's helping you on so many ways, so many ways. You cannot just
Yeah.
list, the list is endless. I
Yeah,
think.
but I think this next question, I think, kind of similar to what GD just asked Tony, and I think I was trying to throw in this question as well, because you were saying that it develops you in thinking of any uh how do you say, basically gives you an a way to solve problems, or a way to handle situations specific situation happening, correct? But my perception of dancing, and I think that's very similar to how GD was actually asking the question as well, because to me, I thought that, dancing usually involves dance steps and moves, especially when you're saying about ballroom dancing, sometimes even like, those Latin, is that
Cha cha cha.
all this, they have
The
dance,
salsa.
that they have the
The,
salsas, yeah, they have dance
yeah.
technicalities, like dance move of this step to this step to that step. So wouldn't that be very rigid in a way, in terms of, you have to follow these steps in order to, achieve certain elements of techniques, right? Like, foxtrot and all this thing. I'm sure those are the kind of specific skills that you need for different dance moves. So wouldn't that be very rigid, actually, in comparison to how you say, according to problem solving, and coming up with a flow to it and stuff like that?
So I will tell you again some examples, and I will also incorporate GT's question about perfection and ballet. So
Correct.
imagine you are on a dance floor. You have the
Yeah.
steps, you have the choreography, you
Correct.
have 15 dancers, couples on the dance floor. It's a
Right.
given space.
Yeah.
But you don't know where the dancers are
Yeah.
moving around. You don't know their choreography. So what you have
Mm.
to do, especially if you are a leader, you need to know in advance where those couples are going, and you have to place strategies in your mind how you can show the best self, the best part of the choreography to a judge, how you can turn around on a place, on a way that they see the best part of your choreography. And
Oh.
this, no one talks about it, and this is the set stuff, the set
Yeah.
thing that is
Correct.
happening in Baru. But if I
Yeah.
want to say, go further, I say every dancer is evolving. So at the beginning, I was a ballroom dancer. I was only learning ballroom steps, set choreographies without any improvisation. But at one moment of my career, I met with improvisation in Argentine tango, what you see in the poster also of your
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is a dance when you don't even know as a woman what is the next step, because you have
Because
to
the
feel
man
it.
lead.
Yeah.
You have to feel the partner, and you
I
also as
see.
a woman can initiate something, which is something that the man also doesn't know. So that's already, like, if you want to imagine, like in life or personal growth, you have separate levels between the
Yeah.
separate dancing levels. And one part is when you are just strong alone, and then you are strong with a partner, and then after you start like there is this interdependence, like you become someone who can create also. And yes, ballet, as Shidi said, is about perfection, and I don't really support this over, how you say that, overtrained and really heavily,
Right.
like, I know they are so serious, and sometimes it's dangerous also for the kids,
Correct.
because they really go to the extremes to create
Yeah.
that perfect ballerina
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
those guys,
Yeah, because
right?
I also feel like sometimes, you say, how do you grade? Because you need, like ballroom dancing, you get points, like, hey, they
Yes.
did this, triple flip, whatever thing, and it's like, hey, extra 10 points, extra 20 points. That's how they do, right? So how do you grade and how do you judge? Like, is this a perfection level, or is this the best technique level? That sometimes it's that's the questioning part about how they strike, and I guess especially for ballet, say what is deemed as the most perfect ballerina posture, for example, that can also be very, strict in a way, right?
I would say here comes the picture, the part that in dancing that I love, which is the improvisation part. And that's why I say dare to dance your way. Because if you want to be a ballerina in the Russian ballet, you have to
Correct.
do all this to become famous.
Yeah.
And you have to be the one who is following those orders. But in the, like Baryshnikov, if you think about Baryshnikov, he was someone who gave his own things. He was giving his own style. He was participating in American movies, showing a different side of the dancing. So there comes the thing that you can still be on ballerina level or that level in ballet, someone different. And there are many, many dancers like Misty Copeland, the first black ballerina, yeah, right? But on my side, I love the improvisation. So when I found the tango, right? That was my home. I felt I arrived because that is something that gives me enough opportunity to grow whatever I want. And if you know dancers, you know we never feel that we are ready because you have so
I
much
thought you're
space
always
to
ready.
grow. No, you
I
are
thought as
always
dancers you're always ready. It's like there's music, yay!
ready to dance, but not ready with your growth. That's true. Ready to dance,
I
but not
see.
ready with your growth. We
I
always
see, I
grow,
see.
we always learn, and we always strive towards more and more.
Can I connect it this way then? I think it's very similar to education in a way that you learn the theories, you learn the fundamentals, you learn the steps, you learn the ways, but eventually these things that you learn is the fundamental basic for you to go out and use it as and when you think is useful according to the situation basis. Do I put
Yes.
that the same as your dance stance technique?
That's the highest level of dancing. And if you listen to this again, what you just said is the highest level of consciousness as a person
Correct.
in personal development. When in life you already know the rules, you set the values, you set your basics. Same in business, you already set the basics, you already did what are the frameworks, and then after you are playing with the circumstances and you are adapting to the situation. And GD is asking about the emotional states. Yeah. So
How we use
emotional
energy.
states. Yeah. So you can channel energy. I love to use this part from dancing. When you are afraid, when you have a stage fright, it can give you extra energies which you can use to do bigger movements.
Adrenaline rush,
You know.
right?
Yes, exactly. You can go really raw. You can show the inside. And most of the time, the dancers are good if they can control the emotions, but it's not fully controlled. I believe in it. It has to have some own little bit of like a little failure on a cup, right? You need to have that little, you have to allow the dancer to make mistakes. You have to allow the dancer to do a little bit differently. And if it's because of the emotional state, whether it's stage fever, whether it's just that they love to dance too much, it has to show. Because if it's not
But
showing,
you
the
can see
audience
that
will
in
not connect.
tango also, right?
Yes.
Andrea, you can see it in tango dance, right? I feel it's so powerful. Like I
It's
can
a
watch.
very
I mean, my eyes will be completely
chemistry,
fixated
I
on the
would say.
screen.
Yeah.
Powerful, right? You can see
Yes.
the emotions coming out, and it's like two bodies are speaking to each other within that movement in a language. That's why we say hidden language, right? There's no actual verbal language going on, but it's like your bodies are talking to each other, and that emotional state comes to life. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like
No,
the
it's
emotional state
perfect.
comes to life, whatever that they are feeling,
It
right?
makes perfect sense because in
Yeah.
dancing there is no place to lie. That's why I'm really good with people, for example, because immediately when I am close to someone and I look at someone, I know what's
Yeah.
going on. When I even like do some hugs or I feel that, you get contact, you get a handshake, it's immediately straight line that I know the person and what's the exact emotional state in that moment. So it's something that is very fearful for some people because you have to be super open. Because if you
Yeah.
put the wall as a dancer, then you cannot connect. But if you
Oh,
put the wall, you don't put the wall, you have to know that you will get visitors. So it really gets into your intimate
I
sphere.
have I have to admit that, I tried, one trial classes for salsa, and it was with a partner. So because all these dance, you need to have a partner to dance with. So the partner is somebody I don't really know. So it was such an awkward moment because I was so rigid. I'm so sorry to tell you, but I'm really not. I have two left feet basically. I'm so rigid. And I was like, I do not know this person, and I have to move with this person because man has to lead. And I was really not very comfortable with that, So, you know, the whole classes at that time, like you said, I was really putting on a lot of barriers on myself. And I guess that is why I cannot really enjoy the whole class lesson of how a salsa is,
And
yeah.
here
And
comes the two things from what you said. The first thing is about relationship in real life. If
yeah.
you put a barrier to your couple, to your husband, or to your father,
Yeah.
or to your mother, right?
Yeah.
There will be never a
Yeah.
deep relationship with that person. You will never get to the phase when you get to know the
Trust,
person.
right?
Right.
No
Yeah.
trust, no
But what to do?
no
Then also I have
emotional
no idea who the
exchange.
hell is that person. I'm supposed to dance with that person. That is so awkward.
But that's the other thing. Like when you network, do you know the other person that you will meet? Do you know the other person that is in
True.
front of
True.
you? It's exactly the same.
True.
People just take it so. It's sometimes
Good point.
cultural. It's sometimes also that
Yeah.
there is this misconception that people believe they cannot do it. Although from 30 years of experience, I have to tell you, you can teach music, you can teach rhythm, you can teach steps, and everyone can dance. And you never have to
Yeah.
compare yourself to other people. You compare yourself to others. But here comes the self-esteem, here comes the self-consciousness, here comes the self-love, which
Yeah.
is actually setting you barriers as a person. And the same in dancing.
Okay. So that means it shows that I'm not prepared for salsa.
Open up, open up.
I am not
I
prepared for
guess
that.
dance
Also, like you said,
it's more than a physical movement, right? I mean, it's more than a
yeah,
physical movement
it's
dance.
actually
Because
connection
if
with
we are
another
looking at it from
human
a technical
interaction, right?
perspective, relationships and even connection with yourself as well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because when you talk about self-esteem and confidence, it's what is your mind got to do with the dance movement. It's how we're engaging with the dance itself, who we are, what we believe
Correct.
in
Correct.
ourselves, and like what Andrew says, right? We trust people that we're dancing with,
Yeah.
right? So
Correct.
like when the person twists you around, some dance where they twist you around and let you go, like, do you trust them? Are they gonna drop you when they spin you? You see all these movements. If you don't trust them, the move can't work. So it's like the
Yeah.
physical together with the mindset as well. If not, I mean, I don't know, I think it wouldn't work, right?
Hmm.
I think
But
it's
I
more
like this.
spiritual.
It
It's
helps
spiritual.
us understand.
Yeah. But I like this
How? Okay,
question
can
from
you explain
Stevie.
more? What do you mean by yeah?
Sorry,
So I
Cheryl.
think
Yep.
so. If you want to think about like how spiritual
Go
it
ahead,
is,
Andrea.
it's really spiritual because you cannot dance if you cannot let go everything else around you. So as you said, the
Mm.
first thing in dancing is that you have to reconnect with yourself, and you
Mm.
have to forget all the environment around you, and you have to connect with the music. And then after that, you have to connect with the partner. So
Mm.
it's on many levels, you are not in these dimensions. And I'm not
Mm.
as a spiritual being like
Mm.
you would
Mm.
imagine, but
Mm.
in
Mm.
dancing, I am.
Mhm.
I believe that I'm on a different place, and I don't know how many dances I danced, how
Mm.
long I am on the dance floor, whether it's 4 hours or it's 8 hours, doesn't matter. There are milongas when you are dancing for 3 days, from the afternoon until 4 a.m. in the morning for 4 days. And the
Mm.
only thing that I feel is in the hotel, when I go back, I feel cramps and I have to put cream on it because I don't know what's happening in between, because I'm really on
Yeah.
another place. And that's the
And
real
and you can't
liberating
see the
feeling.
floor anymore at the end of the day.
No,
Yeah.
you can't. You can't.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's the same, right? I think in Indian wedding
What happened to
ceremonies,
my why is
they
it
have
not working?
dance, they have wedding dance. Sorry, Indian weddings at night. They usually have dance. Open up the dance floor for them to dance, and it usually lasts for about 2, 3 nights, isn't it? But I think it's
Yes.
not
Or
ruled out
imagine
today. But
the dancers, the dancers who are doing this spiritually, right?
yes,
And
yes,
they are
yes.
just turning around all the
It is.
time.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
And that's creating for them a different space. They are getting into a
Oh,
spiritual state, and that's when they have the visions, and that's when they are getting connected. And I'm really thinking that it's back to the ancient things, that we were more
mm,
connected to nature, we were more connected to rhythm, to life, to
mm,
ourselves, and
mm.
we forget about these connections. And if we would go
Yeah,
back there, we would
yeah,
get more emotional, we would get more empathy, we would have more emotional intelligence.
yeah.
So it's really connected with a lot of things.
Yeah. I like this question from GD when he says, how do you see when I do not know why he mean we women, but okay, we women striving to find their position of power by likely abandoning their feminine energy. What does he mean by that? Are you saying that in order for us to connect to dance, we are in a way uh we are in a way neglecting the femininity in us, or
I would ask
what?
back JD, like, what is feminine energy and why just women have it? Because in the reality, men have feminine energies too, and
Uh-huh.
the way
True,
how the world works today, we can
true.
say that the feminine energy is a little bit on the rise, and luckily, and until now and today, in the power, all the people were only having the male energy. And when you have male energy in the room and you raise that energy, it's creating more competition, it's more dominant, right? And it's not
Mm-hmm.
because of women and men, it's because of humans and how we are created. We have men who had to protect the woman, and we have women who had to serve the family, and it that didn't really change. The thing what changed, that today we have more time, so we have time to self-expression, and we can do also what we want to do as a woman or a man. You can be anyone, anything, anytime, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when you think about feminine energy, and some ladies are becoming boss ladies, it's
Mm-mm.
I wouldn't judge them first, because it's their decision. So if they want to be a masculine
True.
woman, it's their decision, just as it's the same for a man who wants to
Yeah.
be a feminine
Mm.
person. it's
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
always
Mean?
the call of the person. But if it's a lie just to get into a position, or if it's a lie because you have to be like that in a boardroom, because otherwise they don't give you, um, for example, they don't let you speak,
Yeah.
then it's
Yeah.
not a good thing, because then the energy is not true. Then what you
Mm.
do is faking yourself, and like in dancing, it comes true. It will
Mm.
be visible.
Mm.
It will be something that everyone will know that it's a fake thing. So they will not give you the word anyway, because your
Oh,
energy will not be strong enough
true.
like it
But
would
I
be
think
if you would mean it.
in his point, I can actually come up with two separate perspective in seeing this, because remember I was telling you about my lessons in salsa. I was very one of the barriers that I was really not comfortable with. It's about the man leading the way. So I was like, oh crap, I have to imagine where the hell this person is going to, which feet are they going to come out first so that I don't step on his feet, the kind of thing. I wasn't really very taking into it. So there are some dance moves, especially partner dance move, where you have one leading the other. And I guess that's where you see this whole dynamics of masculinity and femininity in it. Is like one is leading and one is following. So that is one part that I'm actually concerned about in terms of this, the dynamics of the leading and being led, that's one way, and there also the other portion of it I'm looking into is perhaps, like, I guess, for especially for men who join dancing, a lot of times in society they deem them as, like, this is a sissy hobby. What is this, man? You are doing all these moves like women like that. Like, oh, men who usually need to go for, bodybuilding and stuff is like, what the hell is this that you're doing? So it's the society's perception towards, dance, where it's mainly catered for feminine notions instead. So there's two very different areas. Yeah.
I will get back to both of them. So first about being glad. So if
Yeah.
you think about it, being glad is not actually the thing that always happens in dancing, because at
Yeah.
some times when you are in a couple, it happens that you see something that the other person doesn't. So you give a little tap and you give a little information. Hey, don't go further because you will step on the couple behind you. So it takes two people to give a whole communication like a satellite system when you are dancing, because both of you have different angles. Just like in life,
Right.
you see things
Yeah.
differently. And to make the couple functionable, you need both of the eyes and both of the perspectives. And this is what people forget, because when you go to a class, you are learning to lead or you are learning to
Correct.
follow. But
Correct.
what you should do, you should learn both. You should choose and change and learn how is it to be led and how is it to be followed. So in my creative leadership, for example, I'm telling the people to change roles because of this.
Right, Andrea? It works together, right? It's not like example, right? If we look at from an education side, what is the communication process? First, you send a message, then it's encoded and it's decoded. It's not a step. Even though you learn it in process, like what Andrea says, right? There is like someone who leads and someone who follows. When you actually connect with that person at that level, I mean, I feel when I dance with like my partner, when we used to go dancing, it's like he knows me and I know him so well that when we dance, we just sync. It's like our bodies know each other so well that when we are dancing on the floor, there's no longer leading and following. It's just we are speaking to each other at a different level. But there's some people that when you dance with, you cannot connect. Somehow I don't get it, but I just cannot connect with them. But there's some people that when you dance, you maybe like you said, Andrea, like the trust, a combination of many different things, right? Puts it all together that when you dance, it simultaneously happens at the same time. All these the cues, you don't think about it as a specific action one by one.
No, once you get to that stage, actually at that level, and it takes like minimum like 5 years of really deep exploration. First yourself, make yourself strong, understand your body, understand the intentions of the people. Then when you did that, after that you can start to experiment on couples, and it takes also some time to learn the other person's intentions. And this takes also a long time, same like in a team building, or same like in a
marriage. So you can see the difference between a person, who is married and a person who is single. You see the question we come up with and the understanding of it, you can clearly tell already.
Exactly. So it's totally like this. And my friend, Dr. Pauline, said it really right, that synergies are there between everyone, but you have to search for the synergy, and you have to create that synergy, because otherwise it's just wasted energy. Whatever you do, it's wasted, because we are human natures, we are human social creatures. So we are functioning best in communities, in connections. So that's really, really important. And I think the other thing that you mentioned, when men are actually judged because they are going to dance, that's a very important point. If you think about the society, I don't know in Malaysia, but in the US or in Hungary, we were watching movies. I was grown up with Audrey Hepburn, with Frank Sinatra. And that time, when a man could dance, it was an extra thing. It was like something that was respected, and they got the best girls. And today, also 80% of my men students, they come because they want to find a girlfriend, and they think dance is for that. So yes, there is a feminine thing, especially in ballroom dancing. People say that there is a feminine energy sometimes, but that's okay. But that doesn't mean that the person is different or something. We are all over this. The people should forget already the labels. If you want to dance like feminine as a man, it's your choice. If you want to dance like a macho, then you dance like a macho. If you want to dance as a man, as a dance, look like a man, as a lady. And we have competitions when ladies are pairing up and they go to competition as a couple. But they both dress like men, or I mean in suits, or you have it in different versions. It doesn't matter anymore, because the word is over it. It's just the people's conceptions is what is created by all these advertisements and all the things around us. So we should forget the labels. We should forget to fix the people into some boxes, because it's the people's decision which box they fit.
Yeah. But I can always imagine that. I mean, I agree. I can always imagine, like, some, because you started off very young as well. So I also gone through all these extracurricular activities when I was very young. Usually parents make the decision to send their kids for all this thing. And I don't think that I don't know about, but maybe Asian parents, or maybe for Chinese parents, their whole first mindset of sending their son to dance will be highly unlikely, I would say.
It doesn't have to be dance. That's something that can be also martial art. It can be anything else, which is athletics. It can be any sports, believe me, because that's all having the same thing. Group sports or sports when you have to work with someone will give you the exact same thing that dancing is giving you. So it's not like that. And if I have to tell you, then my brother just gave up dancing when he became 18 and he could decide. He told to my mom, I don't want to do it anymore, because he just didn't want to do it, right? So it's your decision, but it shouldn't be the society which is pressuring you to feel guilty because you are dancing, right?
Yeah.
And GD told again, there was a comment from GD about the simple invitation to dancing. It's perfect. That's the perfect thing. My mom and my dad, they never learned dancing, for example, but every single time when we go to a party, they are the ones dancing the whole night, because they just invite each other, they enjoy to dance with each other, and they have this dynamism without any learned steps. They just in the moment feel good.
I think I want to ask this question to Cheryl, because we know that for now, Andrea's most connected favorite, I would say, connected dance is for now currently is tango, right? So Cheryl, what's your favorite dance? For me, I would say it's contemporary.
Oh.
What is yours?
I love salsa.
So for me, I feel salsa. The reason why I like contemporary was yeah. I mean, for me, I would say that the reason why I choose contemporary, because the part about the expressing yourself through dance, I think contemporary kind of nail the part better. I feel.
Yes. Right? It can be the same. Like what people see today in barroom, it's always these Saturday nights and strictly go dancing and whatever. It's all extrovert. It's extrovert showing off. But the real dance, I have to say, the real dance, it's not like that. The real dance is inside. It's for you. And it doesn't matter which form it is. And contemporary, in a way, it's the same. Like when people want to show off, they do bigger flips and flops and all these things. It loses. It's somehow, sometimes, if you are not good enough yet, then it's losing the intention. And the simple choreography of a contemporary dancer, only simple few moments, movements and gestures can actually have a bigger connection with the audience.
True, I agree on that. Yeah, that's where I will see, like, from contemporary, can see, like, how a person really express their whole using their body to express the message that they want to send through their dance move. I feel it better, stronger through contemporary, I feel.
Yes, it's an amazing dance form.
Azonto. I don't know, y'all have heard of this dance. It originated in Ghana. It's called the Azonto. So when they dance the Azonto, there is no specific specific moves, but every move they make tells a story. It's like they're storytelling
Yes.
while they dance, and I find it so beautiful and so scary at the same time, because if you're so used to choreography and then you suddenly like, okay, so how do you dance is dance, they're like, listen to the music and tell your story. You're like, okay. So in the beginning, when I was introduced to that form of dance, I was like, huh, okay. So I was like, but how does it work? And then my husband was telling me, oh, you see, when he's doing this move, he's saying this, he's saying that. And if you really watch carefully in that Azonto dance, it's just purely creative expression. And it's like what you were saying earlier, right, Andrea, about how if you really dance for yourself and you're really dancing with that intention, it's like you're looking at it differently, right? So I just want to come back to GD's question, right? GD was saying introverts versus
Introvert.
extroverts, and I think it's a very interesting question talking about mental health, right? Yeah, he says, do dancers able to handle mental health differently
Mental health.
depending on whether they're introverts or extroverts? Because you have different types of dancers, right? On
Yes,
both
there are
spectrums,
different
Andrea?
types. Yes, and I think this question has so many things and points and perspectives in it. So first, the introverts and the extroverts, right? As I said, I'm an introvert who is looking an extrovert, right? Many people say I'm so confident and all these things, but it's something that when I love something, when I love to do the thing, then I'm an extrovert and I love
Yeah.
to do the thing. But when
Yeah.
I want to be alone or I don't like something, I'm a really big introvert and I like to stay in my little box, and I don't want to
Bubble.
move out. Bubble, yes, it's exactly. And on the other hand, how we handle mental health differently, I guess for introverts, it's a bit more exhausting that they are expressing themselves to a bigger crowd, right? And they are connecting, and I always feel this exhaustion. Like whenever I do something, I told you I'm doing it like I'm dancing. So when, for example, Cheryl knows last year we did the summit, for me it was a big dance because I was really putting all my energies in. And when I was connecting with people, I went deep into the people. I was caring about all the people who were joining in. And this is the same, that as an introvert, it takes a lot out of you. So that means that you are always giving, and usually you are not the one who should give, right? So at the end, you are becoming like a sponge, which is like this,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
squeezed out.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
really tired. But when it's an extrovert dancer, they are just blooming in it. They love to do this, and that's when you see a very powerful dancer who can, as an extrovert, just amplify this energy and multiply it, and then he's not getting as much exhausted as an introvert when they are doing good. But mental health, I have to tell, and that's the third aspect of this beautiful question, that I believe that because we are trained like this, because even I'm an introvert, I'm trained for 30 years, my body, my mind, my soul is trained to be an extrovert in situations. I am more trained with my mental readiness than someone who didn't have this training.
Mm.
So
Would
it
you say
makes
that it
huge
built
difference.
you stronger in terms of
Much
mental
much
health part?
stronger, much stronger. If I see a problem, it gave me two things. If I see a problem, I always see it from a different angle, because I'm a dancer, so I don't see it from one angle. I see a very bad
Ah.
situation and I say there is worse than that.
Mm.
So you have
Yeah.
this kind of mindset as a dancer. There is worse than that, so you are still not there. And the other thing is, when you are a dancer and you see a very bad situation, you take the music, you put on the music, you get into your bubble, and you are out of it, because
Mm.
it's switching the mood, it's switching the state of the
Correct.
mind. And I'm using this in my sessions
Yeah.
to show the people how music can benefit them when they are figuring out how the music is for them, creating stories for the music. Like Cheryl said, those people are doing it to deal with their own problems by expressing
Correct.
it with music, telling
Yeah.
it in a story. And once
Yeah.
you told it, it's
Mm.
expression, it's out, it's not burdening your soul.
True, true. Maybe it could be in a way to submit that, it's either you dance it for yourself, or you're dancing it for viewers to see. So there's a two
Yes,
types of way of seeing
Yeah,
the dance,
yeah.
right? So the introverts dance for themselves. Maybe the extroverts likes to dance to show people that what they can do. Yeah, that could be it. Yeah.
yes. And at some stages, introverts are also enjoying to
Yes.
be on the stage. I really miss it, to be on
Yes.
the stage, because it gives
Yes.
you some appreciation, which is Maslow pyramid. It's the first thing that you want, appreciation, right? So
Yeah.
after you are safe and fed, you need appreciation. So,
Yeah.
and yes, GD is asking about whether it's a healing art. They use dancing as healing ever since it's existing. Think about dance movement therapy, think about the old times. All the magicians, all the shamans, they were dancing when they were healing. They were having
True.
music, they were singing, they had drums. There was
Yes.
always dancing and music around healing. We just forget this.
True, true. I agree as well, because I
Yeah,
think, like
yeah.
from you say, when it started in the beginning, before time, they use dance as a form of rituals, to heal and to generate the mass energy for, serving a purpose with relations to nature. It's just that eventually they evolve off to be like just this performance show stage kind of thing. But in the core of it, actually, I would say it's really
The
back to
process of it has
connecting with
been
the nature, right?
forgotten.
Yeah.
It's exactly like, imagine a team building when you have the whole team together and they are
Yeah.
in one room and all of
Yeah.
them is dancing and moving at the same time, and the energy
Yeah.
in the room is raising, and you see
Yeah.
the people how they are just giving each other the energy. I did that with my first, I think it was the first What Women Want press release, when I got all the people together in a circle and we were dancing and moving together, and you feel that in the room the energy goes back up. It's if they are bored or anything, you just do these few tricks, reconnect them with their old self, with their ancient self, and it's coming back. From the people love it. It's just
Correct.
we forget about all these healing things and
Yeah.
what gives us like unity, I think.
True. I mean, if you look into it in a scientific perspective as well, dance is also a form of exercise, and exercise actually generates certain kind of, hormones, to,
Endorphin, yes,
yeah,
endorphins.
endorphins, in order for you to, fill up the happy juice, in your mind. So I guess it is also a form of healing in that way. Yeah. I think Didi has another question.
Karishma
Just
asked, Karishma
Karishma
asked,
asked.
what is your favorite dance style in ballroom?
In ballroom, I was always a Viennese waltz girl. I love the Viennese waltz. If you know Anastasia,
Beautiful. Yes, 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 yes.
I love the ballroom and those dresses
Oh,
and the
the
blue
dresses was
Danube.
good. Yeah.
Listen to the blue Danube. It's a very famous
Oh,
harmony. It's a very, very famous song, and
ah,
it's played by the orchestra. It's
ah.
amazing.
Interesting,
If
interesting.
we
I
were
think Didi
in the
has another
studio,
question.
as in a physical studio, to make her dance, I tell you, I will make Andrea dance with her partner. But since we're not there,
We could dance
yeah,
together.
we
So
could, we could.
why one tango
Giddy has
dancer's
a
passion,
question.
yeah, goes on for a lifetime, another dancer intense passions fizzles out in just a few months or years. That sounds like me when I'm practicing my piano. One person,
There are,
high level.
I
I'm
now
like, I
love
don't
the
want to do
questions,
it.
GD. So thank you very much for all these questions. They are really insightful, and I think
Yeah,
it's helping me also to give you a lot of value here.
true,
So
true.
first of all, if you are a tango dancer,
Yeah.
then you know that tango is an ancient dance. It's only danced in Buenos Aires, but it has been formed from African dances in Buenos Aires, and it became like a ballroom dance mixture of African dance, and it became a form of a culture only available in Buenos Aires. In other parts of Argentina, they don't even know about it. So in a way, it became a place for going away from the problems that they have there. It became a place for just being in that moment. And I think because it's a very deep dance, you need a lot of, just for the man, they say you need like minimum 2 years for a guy to be able to learn how to lead in and do all the steps. And
Hey,
then it's
GD, if you're
just
thinking
the
about
base.
tango, you take 2 years, okay, GD?
Minimum 2 years to get to the basic level, and then after you can learn forever, because there is always something new, there is always something that you can do better. And when you go to other dances, it can be the same, there is no difference. The difference is in the people. So I know salsa dancers, kizomba dancers, I know ballroom dancers who never stop learning, who never
Ah,
stop
kizomba.
evolving. And yes, and they become the people who are creating the new dance styles. But those are people who get connected with dancing,
Correct.
and they become the ones who are curious enough about the dance to explore it further. So it's not really those people who give it up, they're not interested in dancing that much. They have something else which is calling
Yeah.
them. Maybe they
Yeah.
like golf, maybe they like cricket, maybe they like running, maybe simple just not doing any sports but hanging in front of the TV. It's better for them to relax, right?
Yeah. Yeah. True.
It's an individual kind of
Intention,
set,
right?
but it's good for
Individual.
everyone to get some music.
I can also see, because I have a friend who is very into salsa, and I can see that she's really, really very much into salsa, to the extent that, when we are, it's like, if you're waiting, for example, I'm waiting for the elevator to come, or I'm waiting for something, waiting for food in a queue or something, like she will start salsaing herself there. I was like, okay, can you just stand for a while and just don't move for? I was like, no, but I cannot. This is the time for me to. Yeah, so I can see that there are people who's really very much into it. That I don't care if there's music, no music. The music is in her mind. That she can't just stand. She needs to dance. So yeah, there are people who are like that, I would say.
I think if parents are struggling with hyperactive children, then it's the perfect way to send the children to dance class, because it's the best thing for hyperactivity. I have it too, and it's really good because it gives you the opportunity to be tired. So when you get home, then the parents are still and
True.
they have their own time. So dancing,
True.
sporting, any kind of
When
athletic sport is perfect.
and here when you're opening up classes, send my daughter.
Anytime. I don't know how the situation will be. Now I'm just doing my do one give classes. So if you want to join
Yeah,
in, we
yeah.
do it in the mornings now online.
Oh, online.
Online.
Does it
Yes.
work online? Does it
Online.
work?
So for some people it's working. What I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out what is working and what is not. I do online classes for a while, so I know that we have limited kind of visibility as teachers,
Correct.
and I have to be very careful because I'm a type of coach who likes to see how the people are using their body consciously, and I don't like them to practice the mistakes.
Yeah.
So, which until we don't have this kind of setup like Tony Robbins has the 360D and it's going around the head of the person and showing the back, the front, and the side, and everything.
True.
Until then, you cannot really do really
Yeah.
efficient dance classes. But once you are getting to a level, then it's easier. So with students who are already training with me before, it's easier because I know that their body is already ready for, the levels that we were talking about. They're already conscious, their body is strong enough, so they will not do much mistakes. But when I do with newbies, I always just do warm up first, then you do some rhythm, then you do very basic exercises, and you just make different variations, and then you do the stretching. So I always include very careful steps to make sure that no one is hurting themselves, and I don't put a lot of pressure on them if the steps are not right, because
Because in a
online
way, I
it's
was also,
different.
yeah, exactly. Because I was also contemplating, like I was thinking, I wanted to try on, some dance classes. But because of this, so I decided, okay, maybe do you think it's a good idea to go and join an online class? But I was also very worrisome because, as I mentioned to you, I have two left feet. So clearly, my structure and stuff will be will need more emphasis to it. I'm like a really, really blank piece of paper when it comes to dancing, and I'm particular about to make sure that I'm in the right, move, so it took me a very long time to actually consider it, so that's
I
why,
think you
yeah.
have to find some instructors who are really taking it to the basic, and then you are teaching, because many people get really frustrated, and it's not really
Yeah,
good, because dance shouldn't frustrate you. So
correct.
what
So I
happens
guess
is that you don't concentrate on exactly the steps. You concentrate on what's going on, and you follow what you can follow, and the rest you will ask. So that's what I would advise to people who are attending online classes. Don't take it 100% seriously with the steps and the right and the left. First, get used to the online environment. Figure out which is your right leg, left leg, shoulders and head, and whatever body part, right? And to relate to the person, normally the instructors are mirrored, so you have to see whether it's which setup, and just don't stress out. First, get used to the online environment, and then slowly catch up. And Yizan is asking about whether it's hard to teach online. I think you need more energy. I think you need much more energy. Mostly it's because you need to be as engaging as you would be in person, so that the people are not bored. And it's really hard when you have, like, for example, 15 participants and 10, for example, they don't use their cameras. What do you do as a dance teacher? You
Yeah,
cannot
I
force
mean, this is
them, right?
funny, right? How
They
are you going
come, they don't
to?
want to show themselves, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you are like, what
Yeah, you said
happened?
this is how we feel as lecturers as well. When I'm teaching, right? Don't see your face, So I do not know whether are you learning or are you not, okay?
But it doesn't matter. So most of the time when I have a student like this, what you do is you ask back, like, okay, what's coming? You stop, you don't do the step, right? For example, in a choreography, and you are asking, what's coming next? What's the next step? Tell me. And then if they are really there, they will answer you, oh, yes, now we go 3 times to the right and 3 times to the left, and they are following, right? That means that they are really doing something. But you don't ask back, you just do blindly the class. You will never have the whole control over the room. And this is really important in the name of the instructor, but it's really hard, because after that you are really exhausted, because you have to do this for every participant in that room.
I mean, if it's one-to-one, it's not too bad. But when you have a group, it's even more difficult, right?
Yes, it's really difficult. And if you want to keep it safe, you really have to put a lot of energy.
How do you see the dance process knowledge created through a self-transformation? Wow, so deep. How do you see dance process knowledge created through a self-transformation experience?
So
How do you
dancing,
answer?
yes, I can explain. So dancing, when you dance, how it helped me, for example, in self-transformation, right? Slowly you get to get the base of the values and the principles, right? That's how they start to teach you. You are the learning. Let's take, like I mentioned, Viennese waltz. The Viennese waltz has X beats, and you have these kind of steps to make. And you have, this is the music, that's the rhythm, and you have the basic information, like reading a good book, right? With all the knowledge. You did that. First, it's exactly the same like self-transformation. You have to be clear with yourself. Who are you? What you are doing? What's your passion? What's your profession? What's your mission? What are the things that you are doing? What is your purpose? You clear all the definitions. What are your definitions? Is that definition yours, or is it your parents' definition or the society's definition? You have to clear all this up. And then after, when you did this, you get to the stage when you can evolve these skills, when you can transform to another level. And that's when self-expression comes in dancing, when the person starts to do his or her own movements, trying new things, dimensions, trying to experience far and close and fast and slow. And it's the same in self-transformation, right? Because you try it, you fail, you try, you fail, you just figuring out what are your frames. And once you have the frame set up, the values, this system in self-transformation, then comes the realization, the implementation, the setting of your own spice, right? When you are already able to see other people, to learn from them, to take away the good knowledge, and you implement it in yourself, and you become a better dancer in life, in person, in business. So that's why I say dancing can help you in all areas of your life, no matter what is it about, even in social media, even in creating content. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Healing,
But
vitality.
I'm curious about this question, and not question lah, but GD made this statement. I know he went to bed already. Okay,
Yes,
never.
good night,
I
GD. Thank you for the questions.
Thank you for the question. But I want to re-ask this statement to see do you agree to it or not. He said dancers are born, not created. Do you agree to the statement?
No, I don't.
No.
Because some dancers, yeah, I would say that some of the dancers, they have the initial, like the shamans. Not everyone is a shaman, right? Or not everyone is a magician, or not everyone is a singer, because they can do it a little bit better because they have it inside, and they are born for it on a way. But that doesn't mean that someone cannot become a good dancer, because it takes commitment. So even a gifted person sometimes can waste the gifts by not using them. And then a committed dancer like Misty Copeland, take her. She doesn't have the exact size of a dancer. She's not a typical ballerina, right? But because of her commitment and because of the stage and the time that we are living in, she got the opportunity to go there and to prove that she can be a perfect dancer. And ever since, there is a hip hop ballet, there is all these merges and fusions and whatever because of them. So yeah, I don't agree with that. You can become a dancer even when you are 50, 60, 70, 80. It doesn't matter. You just have to click, and you have to find that it's your passion and work on it, and it will be you. It will become you.
I mean, look at TikTok. You can see so many senior citizens dancing,
Come on, and they are
they're
doing it
dancing
so
really
well.
Exactly. So, I mean, we've only overshot by like I think 6 minutes. We should end at 10.
GD want to
Usually end in
rebunk
an
my
hour.
statement.
So, he's still here.
I thought you sleep already, GD. That's why I
He's
was asking
still
that
around.
statement. Damn.
Read a few comments. I thought he had gone to bed, but obviously,
Yeah, me too.
Still here, still
So
watching.
just to wrap
Always
up,
Not so fast.
today's
1 hour
show,
is
right?
off.
There's something, if you guys go to Andrea, I know, right? If you go to Andrea's LinkedIn, right, the first thing you see, right, under her name is Dare to Dance Your Way. And I think the whole session today is basically that, right? Like what she's talked about dance. It gives me such an insight into who you are, Andrea, as an individual, as a coach, as a you know, it gives me an insight into like, oh, how does she work, right, on this so many levels? How do you run your conference? Because when you're talking about dance, there's leadership there, right? There's the whole idea of how do you lead. There's a whole idea of how do you solve issues. There's a whole idea of how you think critically. There's a whole idea of like the last question you answered for GD about self-transformation, right? All that put together, I think, sums up the whole Dare to Dance Your Way, which I love because that's Andrea.
Yes, and I
Dare to
hope
dance
that
your way. And
everyone.
is that what you imagine?
Yes, and I hope that everyone else can experiment with this and can figure out how deliberating it is and how much freedom it can give you. Because I think if you dare to dance your way and you can be yourself in any kind of situation, I don't have to lie anymore. I had one part of my life when I was following the societal pressure. I had that, and I said it's enough. And I was doing ballroom, which is a set thing, and I had to do the same choreographies all the time, like 100 times at every competition. But I tended to search for something else. I didn't stop there. I
Yeah.
searched for myself. I searched for the life that I want. I even moved like 9,000 kilometers away. And I even got the storm to make it stronger, the message. And even that is something that is forming this freedom that you have, that you don't have to pretend anymore. And this thing what I just did, like realizing that was the thunderstorm, I saw it it's coming from dancing, because I could immediately see what's happening on, and I still can talk on.
Yeah.
And this is the multitasking that sometimes people say you cannot, but on a way, if you are aware of the things, you can do many, many things together.
Yeah.
It's tiring,
True.
it's sometimes hard, but it's so fulfilling. It's super fulfilling.
True. I mean, even though I have two left feet, I feel that sometimes I do express by dancing, but maybe, the moving of your body does makes you feel much more relaxed. You really help to distress myself as well, actually. Yeah.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Let's just try out. I just tell
Yeah.
everyone, put on a good music, and just don't think about it. Anyone is watching. There is this
Yeah.
famous saying, dance like no one is watching, right?
True.
Put on
Yes.
that music, start to move around, and you will see that if you try to imagine a story for that music that you're listening to, you will forget about whatever is stressing your
Yeah.
mind, whatever is frustrating you. It will
Yeah.
take you to another place.
True. True.
So we will end here. Thank you very much to everyone who tuned in and
Yeah.
listened to us. I
So
have
cool.
gotten to know Andrea at a deeper level again today, and I'm so thankful for that. And guys, just bear with us that you will not be seeing us, the Laughing Buddha, of course, and myself for a while. I will be away for the next 2 months or so, and we will come back
Yeah.
in August with a session on hypnotherapy. So do look out for the
Can't wait.
posters that will come out probably in late
Yes.
July, I think mid July, from Xiao
Okay.
San's side, and we will
Yes.
see you then.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
can contact us. There is a link to follow Andrea in the comments as well as on the
Yeah.
banner. So
Yeah.
go follow Andrea. Andrea, you want to give us some information on the conference that you are doing that is coming up in October?
Yes. Yes, I'm really thankful that you asked for it, because we will do
Mm.
it together, and I know that it will be amazing. So in
Ooh,
October, we will have the second Global Empowerment Summit, which is coming up.
interesting.
Last year, we did it for 4 days. This year, it will be 3 weeks. Yeah, I'm
Ooh,
challenging
that's
myself
longer.
again.
Wow.
But we will have the different topics. So this year is the young and the wise. Let's be bold together. So we try to actually connect the different generations, and we want everyone to come together for the 3 weeks and to figure out the different perspectives. Like in a dancing, you need to know how the other generations are thinking, so that you can start the conversation and create something that is good for everyone, and not just think with your own head, because most of the time that doesn't work, and that's why sometimes we go sideways. So we will touch on the digital divide, we will go into AI, future marketing, even in pitching and entrepreneurship. So many good topics. You can check it out at the www.whatwomeanoneworkshops.com, and you can already get your free ticket to make sure that you will be there. And let's just send the news out, spread the word.
Yep.
It's a free summit, because I want everyone from underrepresented groups to get the same VIP treatment and the same access to experts like everyone else who can afford the ticket. So I
True.
will not put tickets this year again. But there will be some things that you can purchase inside, like modules from the experts. You will get vouchers, so there will be possibility to level up. But I want to keep the original purpose, which is keep the summit for everyone. So if there is an NGO, a community, you can share a
So it's more on
TV or
spreading the
laptop,
message.
put it
Yeah.
into the old folks'
Yeah.
homes or a children's home, and show them and let them enjoy all the knowledge, and give them a different experience.
That's great. That's great. Yes, can't wait for October for that, the summit. Yep. And also, please don't miss us. We will miss you guys for about a month plus until we are back again. So please stay tuned to us. By the time, probably
Yeah,
I have a
we'll be
different
missing
name.
you guys. So
Maybe, maybe. So thank you
definitely,
so much,
definitely.
people.
So guys,
Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you very much.
good
Yes.
night. And
Bye.
yeah. So guys, remember, right, when we talk about dance, you get to be whoever you want to be, when you want to be, express what you want at any given time. Your dance is unique. You don't have to be a professional dancer. The dancer herself told you that, right? And be reflective and own it. You know, enjoy the dance. Let it connect with your mind and your soul and your body, guys. Good night and bye bye. See you guys.
Bye.
Stay
Bye.
safe. Stay safe.
Bye.
Okay, we don't need no more
Yes,
cases.
please.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye.